Everybody ready? Hoorah!
What?
Straight though, I'm not at this point 100% sure what the intent is behind this video, but in the spirit of the up and coming Render Wars series, thanks to everyone who has submitted in so far, tfirenderwars@gmail.com, link in description, I thought I'd share a story that I've never told before ever, and at the same time possibly inspire some people in the way I was, whilst also just making you aware of these things in case you're into that kind of thing. You may have seen these montages playing in the background of a few of my videos. To some, they could just be meaningless eye candy to fill a black spot in a YouTube video, but to me, they're much more than that. Autodesk called them their showreels, a collection almost like a video tribute of work from customers that use their products, combine it with a video advert if you like, but I call them a major contributing factor in how I ended up on the path that led me to where I am today. So it's April 2006, I've been working in an Autodesk reseller for only around 2 years at this point and primarily was supporting AutoCAD, but I was also in the infancy of my journey, which at the time was actually an order from my boss to get the hang of this Inventor thing. And back then Autodesk had a huge budget for their reseller channel. That changed in the following years, but in April 2006 they held what they called their annual manufacturing bootcamp in Salzburg, Austria, for the launch of the new product line that year, which at the time was Inventor R11. Still to this day, in my opinion, that was one of the most significant releases in the product's history. But these boot camps are like huge tech events where Autodesk application engineers from resellers all over Europe come together to be briefed by Autodesk on what's new in the products this year, have the latest marketing catchphrases drilled into them, get the demo sets for the year, and just have a jolly old time. And as a side note, this briefing and new product demos, they were delivered by this guy here. This fresh-faced young buck is Stephen Hooper. Who turned into be this Stephen Hooper, who is at this point almost inevitably going to be a future CEO of Autodesk. Anyone who's ever met him, spoken with him, or seen a product presentation from him will understand why. This was the first time I'd ever been to an event like this. It was the first time I'd ever met anyone from actual Autodesk, and without detracting too much from the point, Autodesk just did it right. Everything about this event was undiluted, elemental, professional inspiration at its purest. The part that Hooper played in this cannot be understated, and that should really have its own video, but what had just as much of an impact on me personally were these, the showreels they had playing at the event opening. Everyone has them, those moments in your youth that you never forget and realise how impactful that actually was on what you're doing today. Well, that was one of those moments. And I get it, right? Context, it was 2006, YouTube had barely existed for a year at this point. Very few people had been exposed to amazing video content like this as part of their daily lives, so these things simply can't have the same impact today on people who are used to the extreme being the norm. But on the first morning of this event, as a fresh-faced, what Autodesk do more than just a few wireframe programs that crash a lot, kind of impressionable young man walking into this room, seeing these showreels on huge projections on loop, with the 5.1 surround sound at full tilt filling the room with Marilyn Manson's Personal Jesus, that ambience, that whole vibe given off, that changed me. And it made me realise that all the special effects that you see in movies, they're not done by wizards and fictitious people living in space bases. These people actually, they're stood in the room with me now. Right now, I'm a part of this now, it's within reach. I mean, this is cool as shit. Look at this stuff. What, we can actually do this? The event itself, the way in which Hooper presented the material, that was the takeaway from the experience, but these showreels, even to this day, watching them and listening to the choice of music accompanying them takes me back to the start of the journey that inspired me to stick with this career that I'd by chance just fallen into, and it made me realise that this is what I wanted to do. Fortunately at the time I asked Autodesk and they kind of gave me a copy of that very showreel on DVD, and because I'm a hoarder I've still actually got it to this day. It's the Autodesk Showreel from 2005. It's one of, if not the first ever showreel that Autodesk did, excluding the discrete showreels which were in Autodesk at the time. But they've subsequently made this an annual thing, and you can now go and find these for all their divisions, and they do them on like an annual basis. They've done that ever since. So why am I saying all this? Well, first, Autodesk, please never ever stop doing these. They've gotten shorter over the years as budgets decline, fine, but please just don't stop them ever. And to any Autodesk resellers out there hosting customer events, that kind of thing, regardless of what products you specialize in, think about using these showreels just like how Autodesk used them for me back in Salzburg 2006 at the start of your events. You never know, a customer of yours might send in like a young fresh-faced Daisy apprentice into your event, and that person could then walk away inspired as much as I was that day, starting a journey for that kid that'll lead them on a path like mine. And that kid will always remember it was your event that did that. Or maybe it's just a video. I mean, I don't know. Either way, I urge you to hit YouTube, search for the Autodesk Showreels of recent years. They're typically only a minute or two long, but just have a watch, soak them in, be inspired. Everything you're watching was made possible by Autodesk software, and if you're a student, you can get that software right now for free and just start making your own magic. So that'll do for this one, guys. I just thought I'd make you aware of these showreels. They're pretty awesome, and I love them. I love watching them. I love the music, I love the feel of them, and that every time I watch them, even if I've seen one before, they just inspire me to just open up a program and start making stuff. Anyway, guys, that'll do for now. Hit the description below for the link to the Render Wars entry submission application email, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles.